Welcome everyone to this mindfulness session. This session was especially designed for you in order to create a space where we can get the mental clarity and the emotional balance that we all need. My name is Rafael Puebla, and I will be your host during this session. I'm the founder of On Being Mindful, a leadership development company focused on providing mindfulness and emotional intelligence programs in order to drive peak performance, stronger collaboration cultures, and happier workplaces. And I'm also a certified mindfulness teacher by the Search Inside Yourself Leadership Institute. And it's a pleasure being here with you, sharing this virtual space with one single purpose, providing informations, tools, and practices that help us to generate mental clarity and emotional balance in order to improve our well-being, leading more effectively, and generating an inner sense of calm. Thank you very much for being here. So, I don't know if you have noticed, but sometimes when we arrive to a session like this one, or to a meeting, or to a place, our body is fully there, but our mind might not be. Our mind wanders a lot and tends to be in the past or in the future, but sometimes we struggle to be fully present moment by moment. And this is a concept that we are going to explore and practice throughout the session. And actually, before officially starting with the session, I would like you to take just a minute to fully arrive to the present moment. And in the way that we're going to do that, it's very simple. Just notice the presence of your body sat on the chair. Noticing your feet touching the ground, the support points with the chair, noticing your breath in and the breath out. The invitation is to release the past and also to release the future and to dwell in the only place and time that life truly happens. The here and the now. There's nothing else to do. There's no other place to go. You've arrived. You are here. Welcome to the present moment. If you have your eyes closed, now you can open them. And this was just a short practice to fully arrive to this session. So my invitation throughout the session is to try keeping this level of presence that we just cultivated by breathing for one single minute. So welcome again to this mindfulness session. And I would like to start with this question. Why are we here? Obviously, you got an invitation and you made a decision to join the session. But in a broader context, the reality is that we are here living in a life, in a context that is being called a VUCA context. Because the reality that we experience on a daily basis is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Volatile because everything is changing all the time. Nothing remains the same. Uncertain because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know even what's going to happen a minute from now. So it's related to the change that goes all the time in this life. But at the same time, the reality that we are in is complex because every time we are facing different challenges, different problems to be solved, and every situation that we have in front of us, every problem that we are experiencing requires a different way to solve that problem. So there's complexity in the way that we live. But also, the reality is ambiguous because it's full of shades, it's full of different elements that we need to take into consideration 7% of the time. What that means in practical terms is that we are missing half of our life. Because if the mind wanders going to the past or trying to visualize the future and we are not present, it means that we are living a life where we are not truly present moment to moment. And when our mind wanders, that study also identify that our mind is unhappy. A wandering mind is an unhappy mind. And there are three emotions that tend to be very present when we are not present, when our mind wanders. And those emotions are stress, fear, and anxiety. And we can define stress as this sense of facing a challenging situation where we perceive a threat. So we feel threatened, and as a consequence, we experience stress. We experience stress in the body through body tension. We express or we feel this stress in our mind, and we also feel that stress in our emotional landscape. But in addition to that, we might experience fear. And I'm talking about that fear that blocks your capacity to take action. When the fear is so present in your life, then you cannot even make a decision or you cannot even take an action. And in addition to that, we might experience anxiety, which is this fear to the future. So when we have stress, fear, and anxiety, the reality is that the quality of our life is impacted. And we start having this sense of unhappiness in different aspects of our life. The good news is that there's something that we can do. And that's something that we can do is learning new skills. Skills such as mindfulness. And I'm sure that if you are in this session, it's because you have heard about mindfulness. Maybe you have already practiced mindfulness because mindfulness tends to be everywhere these days. From the cover of the Time magazine to mindfulness sessions in the World Economic Forum to meditation studios in New York, Miami, etc. But what mindfulness really is. And I would like to share with you a very simple definition that might help you to illustrate what is behind this concept. Mindfulness, in a nutshell, is a human skill. This skill of being intentionally present, moment to moment, with an attitude of acceptance and kindness. So, by being a skill, that means that we can train our mindfulness capacity in order to be more present. So it is not a trait that is fixed over time. We can increase our capacity to be present, but it's not enough to be present. The mindfulness practice is also an invitation to be present in a particular way with certain kind of attitude. And that attitude is acceptance and kindness. Because when we accept the situation just as it is, we are creating mental clarity that allow us to make better decisions. And when we treat ourselves with kindness and we relate to others with kindness, then we are generating better relationships. And the relationships that we have in our life highly impact the quality of our life. So, in an essence, mindfulness is the skill of being present. And we do it with acceptance and kindness. And there are many benefits related to the practice of mindfulness. Many, many benefits. But for the purpose of this session, I would like to focus our attention in two benefits. The first of it is mental clarity. Mental clarity, which means that having this capacity, this ability to see things, situations, and people just as they are, not as we want them to be, we wish them to be, or we expect them to be. Just see them as they are. That is mental clarity. And why mental clarity is important? Because when we are experiencing this benefit of having mental clarity, we can make better decisions because our mind is not cluttered, is not seeing a different reality. It's seeing the reality just as it is. But in addition to the mental clarity, there's another important benefit. And that second benefit is emotional balance. And actually, emotional balance has two important components within it. The first, your ability to be in contact with your own emotional landscape, understanding the emotions that you are experiencing moment to moment. But that is only the first step. The second step is to manage those emotions in order to respond in a more conscious way, especially in challenging situations, in stressful situations. So, when we combine these two benefits, mental clarity and emotional balance, we are creating the proper conditions to improve the quality of our life. Why? Because we are going to be able to make better decisions and we are going to be able to self manage ourselves in difficult and stressful situations, and in consequence, connect better with other people and connect better with life. So, those are the two key benefits that I would like you, that I invite you to keep in mind throughout this session. But if those are the benefits of the mindfulness practice, mental clarity and emotional balance, then what would be the way to develop, to capture, to embody those benefits? And there's a foundational tool, there's a foundational practice that we can use to increase our level of presence. And that practice is meditation. Chances are that just by listening to this meditation word, some concepts are already coming to your mind. There are a lot of misconceptions about what the meditation practice is. So, meditation is not about having not thoughts, eliminating all thoughts. It's not about being like a self absorbed type of practice. It's not a religious practice. Actually, meditation is mental training. That's what meditation is all about, training our mind. And the definition that I would like to offer today is that meditation is a series of mental training practices that allow the practitioner, meaning you, to become more familiar with certain mental processes. So, meditation equals to mental training. And there are different types of meditations. The meditation that we are going to do in this session is mindfulness meditation. And within the mindfulness meditation, the mental process that we are seeking to develop to make it stronger is the mental process of attention. Being able to direct our attention, be able to be focused, and by doing so, experiencing a sense of inner peace, inner calm, feeling more relaxed. But that is the mental process that we are seeking to develop through the mindfulness meditation process. Attention, it's the process. And I would like also to share with you that this mindfulness meditation practice is fully supported by science. There are a lot of studies related to what the benefits associated to the mindfulness meditation practice are. And most of the studies focus their scope in this concept of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity, which in simple terms means that our brain is plastic, that it can change the function and the structure based on three things: based on what we do, based on what we pay attention to, and based on what our thoughts are. So by using neuroplasticity as the foundation of the studies, there are three major benefits associated to the mindfulness meditation practice. The first one, better attention management, meaning the capacity to be more focused, to have more concentration, and to be more present on what we are doing. The second, increased emotional regulation, which is related to the emotional balance that I mentioned in my previous slide. Because by having emotional balance, we are going to be able to have a better understanding of who we are, better understanding of our emotions, and using that information to guide our actions and our relationships, especially in stressful situations. And the third benefit, supported by science, is higher self-awareness, meaning having a deeper understanding of who you are. So those are the three scientific benefits of the practice. Now the question would become, if that is meditation and those are the benefits, how should I meditate? And actually, you know why? The meditation practice is very simple, extremely simple. Might not be easy to do, but it's extremely simple. And in the way that it works is as follows. The first step is just to bring your attention to your breath, just sensing your breathing in and your breath out. As simple as that. But guess what? A distraction is going to come your way. Sooner or later, a distraction is going to come your way. And actually, it's going to be rather sooner than later. But don't worry, distractions are welcome in the meditation process. Actually, distractions are part of the process because as soon as you notice the distraction, you return your attention to your breath and you start all over again. Simple. That is the mindfulness meditation process. Now, let me walk you through what happens in each of those two steps. When we bring our attention to the breath, we might experience this sense of concentration, of inner peace, the sense of flow to be with your own breath. But then, since the mind is thinking all the time, because meditation is not about stopping your thoughts, there's going to be a thought there that might take your attention away from your breath, and you might start worrying or mind wandering or planning or judging or doing something with your mind. That is a distraction. Just notice the distraction. Just notice the distraction. And when you return your attention to the breath, the invitation is to do it with an attitude of kindness and curiosity, because we tend to judge ourselves very often, including in the meditation practice. So if you get distracted, and you are going to get distracted, don't judge yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself. Just be kind. Yes, I got distracted. I return my attention to the breath. And that's it. It's very simple, the meditation process. So I see Lisa on the screen. So I'm going to ask you, Lisa, it's clear the process? Just you can do it. Okay, perfect. You can give it, yeah, 2 thumbs up. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is actually we are going to practice this mindfulness meditation process. So the meditation that we are going to do is called focus attention meditation. And this is the foundational meditation within the mindfulness practice. So let's do this mindfulness meditation practice. And the first step is to find a position, a seated position that allows you to be relaxed, comfortable, but present at the same time. So you might keep your back straight, but not tense, relax the shoulders. You can place your hands on your laps or on your knees, flat feet on the floor if you are on a chair. And if you want, you may close your eyes or leave them open, whatever feels better for you at this time. If you leave them open, just try to gaze down to avoid visual distractions. Once you've found your meditation posture, let's begin this practice by noticing the presence of your body sat on the chair. The sensations of your feet touching the ground, the support points with the chair, noticing the sensations in your hands, and now identify that area of your body where you experience your breathing process more clearly. It might be the sensations of the air going through the nostrils, or a slight movement in the chest area with the breathing in and the breath out, or perhaps the sensation of expansion at the belly with the in breath and contraction at the out breath. Or the sensation of your whole body breathing now. Wherever you notice your breath more clearly, rest your attention there with kindness, with curiosity. Noticing the breathing in, the breath out, just the natural rhythm of your own breath, moment to moment. There's no need to change the way you are breathing. There's no need to think about your breath. The invitation is just to notice your breath as it is right now, with kindness and curiosity. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. If a distraction comes your way, either through a thought or an emotion or perhaps a body sensation, that's fine. Distractions are part of the meditation process. Just notice the distraction and, in a kind way, return your attention to the sensations of your breath. Moment to moment. Let's practice in silence just for 1 minute, noticing your breath. And if a distraction arrives, notice the distraction and return to your breath. Let's practice in silence. Noticing where your attention is. And if it's not in your breath, just get back to this anchor point of your attention, which is the sensations of your breath. If you notice that your mind is evaluating, judging, comparing, analyzing, daydreaming, that's fine. That's the nature of the mind. Just notice all that mental activity and return. Return to your breath. Moment to moment, with kindness, with curiosity. And if for any reason the sensations related to your breath are not comfortable to you, you can use as your anchor point any other sensation in your body. Maybe the sensations of your feet touching the ground, or the sensations in your hands, or even sounds. You can use any sound that might be available where you are as the anchor point for your attention. But the process is the same. You rest your attention in that anchor, and when a distraction comes and notice the distraction, you just return. You always get back to your anchor. In the next breath out, release your anchor point and notice once again the presence of your body, your whole body, from the top of your head to your feet, noticing that you are here. There's nothing else to do. There's no place to go. You are here, developing in an intentional way your inner capacity to be fully present, moment to moment. And before closing this meditation practice, take a moment to acknowledge yourself for practicing this mindfulness meditation today. Which actually can be seen as an act of self-care. Thank yourself for your commitment during this practice. Notice again your breath or any other anchor point, moment to moment. Whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes and bring your attention back, your presence, to the physical space where you are, just noticing where you are right now. And then bring your attention to this virtual space that we are sharing as part of this mindfulness session. So congratulations, you just did a formal mindfulness meditation practice. Sometimes we don't have the time to take 5, 10, 15 minutes to practice meditation. But in order to move away from autopilot and to connect with the present moment, there are some other micro practices, mindfulness micro practices, that take 30 seconds or less and that you can use throughout your day in order to cultivate this level of presence. And one of those practices is the one that I'm sharing with you right now, that it's called 3 mindful breaths. And in the way that it works is as follows. In the first breath, you just notice the breathing in and the breath out, in the same way that you notice that in the meditation practice. Then in the second breath, you relax your body in the best way you can. And on the third breath, you ask yourself internally, what's most important now? What's most important now? And just by taking these 3 mindful breaths, it might allow you to leave the autopilot behind and be more present with a higher mental clarity and emotional balance. So this is the 3 mindful breaths micro practice. First breath, attention to the breath. Second breath, relaxing the body. Third breath, what's most important now? So let's do this practice together. And we can start when you hear the sound of the bells. And we do it the practice at our own pace. 3 mindful breaths. Thank you very much for doing these 3 mindful breaths. So this is a practice that actually you can do, for example, in a transition moment. When you just finish a meeting and you are going to engage into your next activity, you can do 3 mindful breaths. Or what about when you officially close your working day, even being at home? There's a good way to put some limits. I finished my work. Now I'm going to engage with my family. So we can do 3 mindful breaths. Or at the beginning of our day, 3 mindful breaths and then engage in the next activity. So just a simple practice to be more present through these 3 mindful breaths. And the reason why we pay attention to the breath is because when we do that in an intentional way and we are aware about the fact that we are connecting with our breath, what happens is that we are activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for digestion, and relaxation. So that's why we bring the attention to the breath, because that helps us to promote a sense of well-being. That's the reason why you hear this concept of just breathe, just breathe. It's due to that. You are activating your parasympathetic nervous system. So I would like to hear from you in case there's any questions, any comments, or if someone wants to share any experience related to the meditation practice that we just did, or related to this micro mindfulness practice of the 3 breaths. This is the time for you to ask any question. I think that when someone asks a question, that person is giving the opportunity to other people to learn, because there might be several people having the same question. So if there's any question, please let me know. One of the most common questions is that why do I feel sleepy when I'm meditating? Some people might fall asleep when they are meditating, and that's completely normal. One of the reasons is because we might be tired, we are not sleeping enough. And when we are in a meditation posture, we are relaxed, we are with our eyes closed, and then the body might read that signal as a time to go to bed. And that's why we might feel a little bit sleepy during the meditation process, but that's totally normal. So if you feel that way, you might want to meditate with your eyes open. You don't need to meditate with your eyes closed. So doing meditation with the eyes open is totally fine. So I mentioned that because some people struggle a little bit with this sense of sleepiness throughout the meditation process. The other common question that people might have related to the mindfulness meditation is about paying attention to the breath. For some people, might be a little bit uncomfortable bringing the attention to the breath for whatever reason might be. So in that case, the alternative is to use any other body sensation as the anchor of your attention, as we did in the meditation practice. You can use a neutral body sensation, for example, the sensations of your feet touching the ground, or the sensations at your hands, or you can even use sound as the anchor of your attention and just noticing the sound just as it is. But the purpose is the same, using that anchor point to rest your attention there. And if a distraction comes, you return your attention to that anchor point. Last but not least, there might be some questions related to the right meditation posture. Is there a right meditation posture or not? And actually, there are 4 foundational meditation postures. You can meditate in a seated position, on a chair, or in a cushion. If you are in a chair, don't cross your legs with the feet flat on the ground. If you are in a cushion, you can cross your legs. That's totally fine. You can also meditate in a standing up position. It's totally fine. Meditate in that posture. You can meditate laying down. That's another common meditation posture. And you can meditate even walking. So you can do walking meditation and just noticing the sensations at your feet when you are walking. So walking meditation, it's another way to connect with the present moment. So those are the four foundational meditation practices. So in a summary, and just to close this mindfulness session, our mind wanders 47% of the time. And we know that when our mind wanders, we experience a sense of unhappiness. The good news is that we can develop certain skills in order to be more present, to generate mental clarity and emotional balance. And that skill is mindfulness. And the foundational practice that we can use in order to train our mind to be more present is through the mental training, also known as meditation. But, but in addition to that, you have these micro practices that you can do throughout your day in order to be more present. And the micro practice that we share with you today is the 3 mindful breaths. So that's the information, the practices, and the tools that I wanted to share with you. I hope that you continue with your mindfulness practice. It's called practice because in order to develop our capacity to be present, we need to train our mind to do that. So it was a pleasure being here with you, sharing this space in order to gain a little bit more of mental clarity and emotional balance through the practice of mindfulness. My name is Rafael Puebla, and it was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafael.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This was great. I've done a few meditations before on my
Uh-huh.
own, so this is really nice.
Thank you, Tiffany.
I've done a shaman's journey too. I know sometimes at night, if you're trying to fall asleep, YouTube has really great meditations too online.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. Because some people use the meditation process to fall asleep. And yeah, actually in YouTube, there are good meditations to do that. The type of meditation that it's more recommended in order to generate this sense of relaxation, it's called body scan meditation. It's a very good meditation in order to promote a sense of relaxation in order to go to sleep. Thank you, Tiffany, for that comment. Bye.